We are just.
Yep, we're live now.
Did you talk with Leila?
And we are live.
We are live. Good. So, good evening and hello again to those of you who've just run down the virtual corridor from our panel discussion, Robotics for Humanity. So we're at the end of the European Robotics Week Central Event 2020, sadly. Sometimes at the end of events, we are asked to think of 3 words that sum up the spirit of the event. And of course, we already have 3 words, Robotics for Humanity, the theme for the overall central event. But if you look back at all the sessions from Monday until now, whether they were presented in English or in Bosnian language, perhaps there are 4 words: technology, robots, of course, future, absolutely, and therefore children. So let's hear from someone who has a very clear perspective on robotics, education for children, and indeed for wider society. Marina Bill is the Group Vice President and Head of Marketing and Sales for ABB's Robotics and Discrete Automation business. ABB is a technology giant and is, of course, our platinum sponsor for the central event. Marina joined ABB in 1997, and since then she's held a variety of management positions across the organization. Marina holds a master's degree in industrial engineering and management with a specialism in thermodynamics from the Royal Institute of Technology in Stockholm. And she's also senior leadership graduate from the IMD Business School in Lausanne, Switzerland. Welcome, Marina.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for the introduction, and good evening, everybody. So I'm very happy that I will be able to do this little end speech of this very, very nice event. Before going into a little bit about the future, this picture might be a little bit provocative. But if we all think back upon the first weeks of the pandemic, I guess this was the picture that went through a lot of our minds, and for sure the minds in the media. Now, several months and weeks into the pandemic, with all the challenges we're having, I would say there is a complete other pictures that's going through our mind. And those pictures might be actually in the very strange, difficult situation we're in, but much more positive. One of the things we've seen what technology has been able to do during this pandemic is showing different areas where technology, automation, and robotics can be used. And one of the most prominent one that you see a lot in the papers today is to use robots really into the automized testing. In the hospital, in the lab surrounding, making sure we used advanced automation so that doctors and nurses can spend more time with the patients. I think this is such a great example for how technology is really one of the key parts that will help us with whatever challenge we might have in the future or here and now, like in the pandemic. Now, coming back to our event, I wanted actually, when the event was going to take place, to do a little bit of a survey of very young people in my surrounding and seeing how do they actually look upon robotics. Now, due to the pandemic, I had to only do the very close small people in my surrounding. So I just did a very, very small interview with a person close to me when it comes to the future of robotics.
Because they build cars, and also they can also build Lego, and they also make Lego. In the future, I think robots will maybe make books, if maybe that the person who wants to write that book and he doesn't know how to write it, he could maybe say to that person, to the robot, that can you please write a story about that? And then maybe it could write a story, and then he could say, I want a picture what looks like that. And then he can also maybe say how many pages there are. I think in the future, robots will help in the hospitals when someone is sick, or they'll maybe clean the house, and do much more stuff what maybe robots are now not doing, like build a house.
Yes. 3 things that I take with me from this little interview. Firstly is that kids at a pretty young age actually have a good idea of what robots can do today. Secondly, they think absolutely out of the box of things. Yes, why shouldn't robots write books or build houses and things like that? And thirdly, and maybe most important, this idea of, yes, we might not know what robots will do in the future, but they will probably do a lot of things we can't even think of. So keeping this open-minded, I think, is so inspiring and something for all of us to think about in the future of technology, any technology, but robotics in particular. Talking more about technology, I think we all know that technology is getting more important than ever. And technology is really one of the keys for tackling some of the biggest challenges that humankind is facing today. I mean, we have to provide for the rapidly growing population and still doing it while preserving the earth. And to do this, we need engineers and we need scientists to come up with new and ingenious ideas. But it's people who will come up with this. And for that, we need to make sure that kids and young people are really attractive and see all the benefits with STEM. So robotics, I think, offers a really special part in the STEM surrounding. It offers really the microcosmos where all the STEM part comes together. So instead of robots being fun, both for really young children and for really advanced students, it really takes part of all the different parts of STEM. You have to master the science, the technology, the engineering and math, and you have to do it in a positive way. So it really is where a lot of the STEM technologies come together. It also, I think, helps students, and it also helps students that we have a near and a very early introduction to robotics to really encourage children to grow and to have their expression, engage their in cognitive, critical and creative potential. And of course, it's fun to use robots, but it's really that these future creators, designers, and engineers, that they have a better way to explore the world around them and to come up with new ideas and to do it in a teamwork and do it with a curious mind. Now, we all, I think, agree upon that, yes, we want to attract more people into the area, but we also know that the skill gap is very big right now. This means that it's not only to attract young people into this area, it's also to look upon the lifetime learning part for all of us. We all have to upgrade our learning. We all have to do reskilling or upskilling or whatever we want to call it. Because in order for us to really take part and continue to develop this advanced automation technology, we need to all be part of a very dynamic workforce. And I think that also makes the work for all of us much more interesting in order to constantly learn new things. So Robotics for Humanity, I think that was such a perfect headline of this event. And I'm, again, as I said in my opening speech, I'm so very happy that we were able to have this event despite everything happening around us. And I'm looking forward now to also the next event, but also all the things and how the world will develop in the next year to come. All the news ideas and hopefully all these young people with all their ideas that will be more and more interested in technology generally, STEM in particular, and really hopefully also in robotics. And with that, I would like to thank really all the organizers for the fantastic work and for this event.
Okay, excellent. Thank you very much, Marina. That was very good. And to see your market research on young children, young people's perspectives based on your a sample of one person, your son. And I just admire his ability to speak to the camera with no embarrassment, no nerves. That's truly excellent. Thank you very much. Okay, so now we're going to hear from the chief architect of the Central Event 2020, the driving force who brought the European Robotics Week Central Event this year to Sarajevo, to Bosnia. I'm referring, of course, to Maja Hadžiselimović. If you weren't with us for the opening ceremony, let me tell you that Maja is an engineer, a Master of Science in Mechatronics, Robotics and Automation Engineering. And Maja is, of course, the national coordinator for European Robotics Week in Bosnia and Herzegovina. She is herself an experienced robotics engineer with a particular focus on the automotive industry. She's made it part of her personal mission as well, actively to share her robotics and automation experience and to motivate young people, especially girls in Bosnia, to take up robotics and IT as a career. As ERW National Coordinator, Maya is responsible for organising events which aim to bring the STEM and robotics research to the public. So Maya, please give us your own perspective on what we've seen and heard this week.
Thank you, Steve, again, and thank you, Marina, for being part of the whole ceremony and the whole European Robotics Week. I also have to share the same idea with Marina and say that I'm really happy we managed in the end to have this event and continue the tradition, although we are in the online world, but I'm always trying to have this, let's say, positive focus and take this as a new chance to maybe spread the word about central event in Bosnia and Herzegovina with more people than we actually imagined in the beginning. I have to say, 3 years ago when we were thinking about starting the EU Robotics Week celebration in Bosnia and Herzegovina, my main motto was that I met a lot of people who were telling me, no, we do not have interest in something like that. There is not enough children interested in so what. And that was somehow my main motivation. When you tell me you cannot do it, like, I'll watch me and take pictures of how am I doing it. So I really gathered a great team in the beginning and we started this celebration, and now I can just say I'm extremely proud of everyone who participated in this EU Robotics Week. In this previous 3 days of panels, we heard really amazing stories on robotics in education, in industry, in health, in every possible, let's say, area that we know. And we shared really positive ideas and thoughts for the future, and stressed out how important it is to build this trust between robots and humans, so that we in the end really can have robotics designed and made for humanity. One of my personal also great panels was on education and STEM in a region, because I could saw how just after short conversation and ideas exchange, we started to generating new ideas on how we as Western Balkan region can collaborate and can share our story and our mission and gather even more children on one place and achieve better results. Today, we also had an opportunity to hear more about diversity in STEM, how we need to push ourselves to achieve this to achieve this diversity in many aspects, age, race, gender, and so on. And we had really great panelists from all over Europe who were talking about their positive experiences, what they are already doing is part of their mission to bring more diversity in STEM. And that was also something which was very inspirational to hear about, and it again created some new ideas and a new network that wants to do something together. Bosnia wants to connect with Denmark, and Romania with Germany. So I think these events are great for networking, for sharing knowledge, for sharing idea, and just for motivating each other to do more for our society, but especially for our children. I strongly believe that investment in children, in their education, knowledge transfer with children is something that is it doesn't have any price. I think that's something that will always pay off, and I personally believe it's everyone's job, not of course main job, but job to transfer their knowledge and to talk with children, to hear what they are talking about, hear their ideas, hear their dreams, and work with them on making those dreams a reality. I'm also amazed with Marina's short video and her market research on topics on children and robotics, and how do they imagine our future. And I have to tell, we did something similar, and I just got a confirmation that we are allowed, that all parents allowed us to play this video. Unfortunately, it's on local language, but we will, I think by their faces and by their smiles, you will have the feeling what they are talking about. So I will ask my colleague to play the video. It's about 5 minutes long, but I'm sure you will enjoy it.
Roboti su od metala i roboti su kao ljudi, samo što nisu ljudi. Roboti su isto kao ljudi od metala. Pa ja bih napravila srce i mozak od žica, spojila žice i onda bi tako on imao pamćenje. Moj robot sni. Roboti nemaju srce i mozak, nego su od metala, imaju žice. Pa tako im ti napraviš. Da, može da mašta i da ide u neki svijet. Robot mi vrati, ja bacim lopticu i meni vrati. Čisti. Moj robot može da skakuće, da pliše, da roni, da pliva, da se ljulja. Može i da zavija. Moj robot mogao da radi kao kad bi ja krenula negdje na put da mi stavim stvar negdje tamo, negdje tu, negdje ne znam ja gdje. Napravila bi vrtić. Vrtić za sove robota i sobu robota učiteljice. Kad sam ga napravila, to bi bio dan rođenja. I slavio sam samo njegov rođendan u zimu, Novu godinu. Rođendan u aprilu. Nema potrebe kao mi, tako da ne može biti ništa. Dječak. Pa dječac, ako ti napraviš dječaka, robota, ako napraviš djevojčicu, robota, onda je djevojčica. Muškarac robot nema trepavice, to znači da je muškarac, a robot curce imaju trepavice, a to su robotice. Da pomaže planet tako što će uzimat smeće i bacat u kantu i tako što će nekim ljudima koji koji su bespokretni ili slijepi pomagati. I onda kada ga stave tužne portice u njega, u njemu se brkovi okrenu ovako, a kada mu stave sretne portice, onda mu se brkovi okrenu ovako. Pa čišću planete i svašta da pomaže ljudima. Roboti mogu očistiti planetu da bude ljepša. Mogu bi pomagati s ljudima, biti uvijek dobar i pomagati starijim i mlađima koji treba pomoć i bolesnici. Pa mogu bi se u razne stvari pretvarati. Mogu bi u leteću stolicu, mogao bi u običnog robota, kao igračku. Moj robot se zove Robo Brko. Izgledao bio bi leopard i da bi se igrao sa mnom i od mene zabavljao kad mi bio dosadno mogući. Obliku srca. Ja bi napravila robota u obliku sobi. Robot sobi napravila. Izgledao bi kao mačka. Kao neki čiko, samo što ne bi imao usta, već bi imao ovako da priča. Da imaš suknicu, da imaš trampicu, da ima jednu maštu gore. Bibuk.
I hope you enjoyed this video just by looking at it. I will translate some of their ideas. They say the robot is actually just like a metal, like a human made out of metal. They do not have a heart and brain. They have wires, but they do have imagination. What do they do is they clean, they jump, they dance. Some of their tasks for the future would be to pack their things when they are traveling somewhere. Robots do celebrate their birthdays. And how to make a difference between a girl robot and a boy robot is that girls robot have eyelashes, and if you do not have eyelashes, then it's a boy robot. So just to know, robots are there. The robots could clean our planet and make it more beautiful for us, and they could also be kind and help our elders. And how do robots look? They look like cats, and some of them have skirts. So that's in short their description on robots and what are robots capable of and how can they help us now and in the future.
Excellent. Okay, Maya, thank you very much. That was a real vote of confidence from the children of Bosnia in robots and the future. Thank you, Maya, to you and your team. None of what we've experienced and enjoyed this week would have happened without you. Thanks also to the generosity of our platinum sponsor, ABB, and also our silver sponsor, PAL Robotics, all other partners and supporters in Bosnia and beyond. Special thanks in particular from me, certainly, for the team at the EU Info Centre at Sarajevo. Your technical support for the central event has been brilliant. Thank you. Events are still taking place here in Bosnia and right across Europe as part of European Robotics Week, because although the central event is coming to an end, we're only halfway through the week itself. So please get involved. But for now, thank you for joining us. Hvala lijepa, na svidenje, dobro večer. Have a good evening. Goodbye.
Goodbye.